This morning I was wondering if you can actually make a fire starter kit that is truly waterproof, or make a fire starter kit that even if it gets wet you can still use it. And you know, back in Montana, I took a winter survival course, I think 3 or 4 years in a row, and the fire starter of choice was always cotton balls, 100% cotton balls, saturated in petroleum jelly. And these StrikeForce fire starters were the choice of those guys, because they just create a heck of a firestorm. So I'm wondering if I get these cotton balls saturated enough with the petroleum jelly and dunk all this stuff in water, make sure it's good and wet, including the fire starter, take it out of the water and fluff it up, can I still light the cotton ball? So let's see. Okay, of course there's 1,001 YouTube videos out there on how to make these things, but a lot of guys are making them probably not with the intent of getting wet, getting them wet. They want to keep them dry, which, used to be really easy. You used to have these things called 35mm film canisters, and you could pack a bunch of saturated cotton balls down inside of one of those things and just pull one out and have your fire going in a minute. But what if, in a really bad situation, you got wet, your fire starter got wet, and you needed a fire? I mean, that's what we're after here. I want to see if it's possible I want to saturate every fiber of that cotton. I want to get it all protected with the petroleum jelly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 of these cotton balls. I'm going to do them the same way. I'm going to saturate every fiber that I can. One cotton ball is going to take a bath along with the fire starter, along with the striker, that is. The other cotton ball is going to stay dry, because if this doesn't work, then I want to make sure that the problem isn't that I have too much petroleum jelly, because it's very possible, I would think, that you can put too much petroleum jelly on this. I've never tried this, so this is new to you and I both. All right, so get a good gob on there and just work it in. Hey, it's really good for your hands too. Normally when I make these things, we pull them apart a little bit, work it in some, but really that'd be about it. That'd be about as far as I'd go. And then when you want to start it, the quickest way to start a cotton ball is to pull it apart a little bit, and your spark will light the finest little fiber of that. You can always put some of the other cotton balls on there without pulling them apart, and these things will burn for 10-12 minutes each. So they give you an opportunity to dry out wood, whatever you got to do. A little bit more. I want to be fair here. This other one has a lot more on it, but I want a real good idea of if this will actually still work with so much on it. Okay, but I'll get these worked up and I'll be back with you in a second. Okay, I really couldn't get the consistency right, so what I've decided to do is I'm going to pull both these cotton balls apart, kind of mix them up like a deck of cards, so we really don't know who is who and what is what. We should have a fairly equal amount of material in each ball. There we go. Alright, so they're both about the same size. They got about the same amount of petroleum jelly in them. So now, let's put this stuff aside. Okay, we got them both saturated. One's going to stay dry. The other one is going in the water bath here. Nothing in there, it's empty. No chicken salad left. That'll be enough. I just need to get my striker wet. Okay, cotton ball is going to float because there's so much buoyancy to it, and I've actually got to get this off my hands before I can handle that. I don't want to get, if I get the petroleum jelly on the striker, then it's probably not going to work right. So let me wipe this stuff off. Okay, I'm going to just open this up just to make sure that everything gets wet. There is actually a, just kind of a sidebar here. This fire starter has a container in the back. You could put some fire starter in there. You could put some of these in there. I can't remember the stuff that they used to sell to put in here, little pellets or whatever, but I don't use those because these are cheap and easy. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and let the air out of that. Like I said, the cotton ball is actually floating. But I'm going to let this sit 15 minutes. I'll get back while you're here in a little bit. So it's actually been more like 20 minutes. The cotton ball is still floating. Everything's still in there. I have a spare StrikeForce and that dry cotton ball. First thing I want to do to test is open this up like I normally would with any other cotton ball that's saturated in petroleum jelly. We're going to just kind of open the fibers up a little bit. There we go. Set it down, and we're aiming for that little spot right there. Get some of that off of me. So we have a dry StrikeForce and a dry cotton ball. Like I said earlier, the small fibers light quickly. Let's make sure this thing's gonna, oh yeah, it's gonna work fine. With that much petroleum jelly in it, still lights. Okay. So that part is tested and it's gonna work. Now, our wet stuff. We got the wet cotton ball. We got the wet StrikeForce. I guess the first thing I need to do is kind of shake it off a little bit. Make sure I can get the StrikeForce going. Okay. So I can still get a spark out of that. That's not a problem. Shake the water out of this cotton ball. Open the fibers up a little bit. Alright, so I got the loose fibers there. Hopefully they hadn't soaked in any water. Got a little popping because we got some water. We're going to let that burn a little bit. I'd say that's proven. That's going to work. So cotton balls and petroleum jelly are going to work wet or dry. StrikeForce is going to work wet or dry. Thanks for watching.